The Fairy Who Wouldn't Stop Crying. The Teary Fairy. Sit tight, boys and girls. I've got a story to tell you. A fairy tale, if you like. Fairies like me used to be 10 a penny, see? But you'd be hard pressed to find one these days. Always on the move we are. Anyway, this story is about a very special fairy. And while it all happened a long time ago, the fairy's still going strong today. Or so I hope anyway. Right then, let's get cracking, ain't it? This story is about the little fairy who wouldn't stop crying. Sobbing he was day and night. Now us fairies are hell of impressionable, especially when we're little. We learn all sorts of tidy tricks from other fairies, but we can pick up bad habits just as easy. I don't know whose miserable mug this poor Deb saw when he first popped out into the world, but it must have been proper tragic, as the first thing he ever did in his life was cry, and then he kept on crying. Now, it's not like this fairy wanted to be spouting tears all the time, he just couldn't help himself. Every time it got dark he'd well up, like blinking clockwork he was. What's more, young fairies can be hell of a cruel, and this little cry fairy got ribbed something terrible, all of which just made him want to cry even more, of course. The Puddle of Tears. One day, a travelling wizard happened to spot this fairy standing next to a puddle of tears. He was proper knackered, this wizard, and hell of a thirsty, so what he did was he took a drink from the puddle, ain't it? There's lovely, he thought, and felt 10 times better straight away. Then off he went with a spring in his step and got on with his wizardly work. A little bit later, when everything was done, he decided to go back and thank the fairy for the tears he drank, But when he came back, the puddle was even bigger than before. "Oh, fairy," he said in his grand old voice, "why do you cry so much? I've been gone 3 days and still you weep." "Oh," said the fairy, "scared I am, scared of the dark, and I don't know what to do about it." After a few more sobs he went on, "And everyone makes fun of me. Good for nothing I am. Life's rubbish." And with that he went back to sobbing. "I see," said the wise old wizard, stroking his big white beard. "Perhaps a lantern is what you need." So he whips this tiny lantern out of his cloak and plonks at the end of the fairy's nose, right? Now the light from the lantern made the fairy blink like mad, but it didn't half tear him up, and sure enough, he stopped crying. He felt like he'd been born again, he did. "You see, little fairy," said the wizard, "you shall never be in the dark again, no matter where you go." I'm not scared anymore," the fairy gasped, cracking the first smile of his whole entire life. "And you're no longer good for nothing either," laughed the wizard. "That smile of yours will bring comfort to a great many people. Come with me and I shall show you." So the fairy packed up his dabs in a little bag and went off with the wizard. They had some pretty hair-raising adventures and all, but the fairy never once got scared. He had the lantern on the end of his nose, see? And even after he parted ways with the kindly wizard, he never cried again, and the light in his nose is still shining to this day. Have a look around you, he might be right nearby. Well, what do you say? Proper tidy, wasn't it? I bet you could have tear in your eye now. And that, as they say, is that.